Street. The month is November 19th, year 2019. Please silence all electronic devices of those in attendance. Thank you. 5:30 study session. Any public comment? I see there's none. SS-1, workers' compensation, alternate dispute agreement between the city of Lemoore and the bargaining unit. Attorney, go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. What you have before you is the alternative dispute resolution for workers' compensation. This is an item that city staff has been working with the approved bargaining units for quite some time. John Ferrone with Adams, Ferrone and Ferrone Law Firm is here to provide a PowerPoint with information and also ask any questions that you have about the ADR.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Thank you for having me present. I'll try to go through this slideshow relatively quickly. If you have any questions, let me know. So basically, we start with the statutory system that you have currently. And what I've been moving towards is identifying what's at risk for cities and counties. When you have a system that causes lengthy delays, you have the employer paying lengthy periods of overtime, backfilling on the fire side and the police side, cost of the cases, litigation expenses. The employee faces really the sick time, and the big issue is for them is delays in medical care and really decreased employee morale. They enter a system and there's really no map. When you don't have a map, you build in anxiety. Anxiety then leads to what? Litigation. You want to figure out where to go. And so the system design is flawed from the outset because there is no defined map for injured workers, injured employees of the city to figure out how to get through this. It is the most complex, really, maze to go through. And there's so many pitfalls to understand it. When I'm done presenting, you will realize there's no incentive today to actually go through it. If you had an injury, you're better off. And this is what the design was to do, was to push people out and not come through the system because it's so complex. But like essentially on your admitted cases, if you have a firefighter, employee, police officer involved in a traffic collision, for instance, it's an admitted case. Usually a safety officer is being paid $48.50 or full salary. The non-sworn are getting 2/3 or what's called temporary total disability. Their biggest fight is getting medical care. And out of the gate, they don't know where to go. They rely on word of mouth referrals, and they're facing a process called utilization review. That is, every time a doctor makes a recommendation, it goes to a review company. That company then makes a recommendation either to agree or disagree, approve or deny that care. Most often what we're seeing are delays in the neighborhood of 70%. And that does not solve the problem for the employer. While it's a legal device, it's used in workers' comp, it's a reality that just it kicks your can down the line farther. In the end, your only appeal after that is what's called peer-to-peer. Trying to get a doctor and a reviewing person together on the same day is almost impossible. Independent medical review, this is if you want to appeal this decision. Even worse, almost 80% of the decisions out of IMR are denials. So your treatment, if you go that route, is effective. If it gets denied, effective for 1 year. So again, on the admitted cases out of the gate, this is a map that's really burdensome to really cities and employees. It doesn't offer really a robust way to solve it. And if you look at the way the NFL runs their treatment, a person's injured or MLB or an NBA, what is happening? Medical care is being rendered immediately. Why? They want to learn status. The sooner they learn status, what? They then manage their risk. Here, it's the opposite. They're not learning status. So employers aren't able to accommodate for light duty. Because why? They don't know what's happening because utilization review has said no to the surgery. So the dynamic here is there's really a way to solve that appeal. So a member that's going through this phase, even if they have a very good doctor, at Sequoia or Kaiser, is facing this gauntlet of treatment review and potential denials. And really, it's wasteful to think that you would pay full salary, backfill on overtime, and deny care when the denial of care is less cost than the person being off work. So if you ran your own, let's say a franchise in a Subway, would you keep someone off, pay them full salary to deny care, and the care denial, the value of the denial is less than the wages being paid? And that's the system today. And multiply that by just hundreds of thousands of cases throughout the state. The other side of the coin are denied cases. Now, this is where the member has filed a claim and the case is yet to be picked up. So this is the gauntlet they face of 90 days of a decision, after which the member goes to what's called a QME, a panel of QME doctors, or an agreed medical examiner if they're represented by a lawyer. That timeline, on average, takes 9 months to get a case from denied status to whether or not they're accepted status. Now, if you go back to that first slide, the slide before, once that case is accepted, they're only facing the gauntlet of what? Utilization review. So why would you go through here to face denial after go 9 months, only to turn around and be on an accepted case to face denials and delays of your care? You're really not, there's no incentive to go through the system and manage it. This is the problem with the system today. So what we kind of figured out way back when I was, I'm dealing with Long Beach for over a decade, and I approached Long Beach and I said, you've got so long, your delays are so lengthy. Let's figure out a way to expedite the disputes. We identified a number of issues: modified duty, full duty, retirement, work restrictions, utilization review disputes. And so we kept identifying really big issues that had lengthy delays. And we then designed what's called an ADR. It's called an Alternative Dispute Resolution Program. And what that does is the labor code allows us to create a number of different issues. We can create a list of evaluators, return to work program, an agreed list of vocational vendors, and some other issues like even mediation. And so it took us about a year. We've taken small steps, and we designed a program in Long Beach to handle these issues in a faster manner. And so what did we do? Well, I first of all got rid of QMEs because they take too long. And the quality of the QMEs really today have dipped in quality. They've allowed a lot of different doctors in on this program. As a result, it degraded the quality, degraded the report. We brought in IMEs. These are the good doctors who are neutral. Good, bad, or indifferent, there's going to be a result in this case. The key difference was we got the doctors to agree to a contract of 30-day exam, 30-day report on any dispute. So if a case arises and you have a dispute as to whether the member can do light duty, dispute, 30-day exam, 30-day report. It encompasses a list of all the physicians: dentistry, ear, nose, and throat, internal medicine, ortho. Doctors rotate from top to bottom. We're getting to the front of the line. And ultimately, these are the kinds of measures of success. So Long Beach hired Deloitte. Deloitte came in and studied 5 years of their cases. They have 900 cops, 500 firefighters. That's the only two groups we focused on. The average length of time it took to resolve claims in Long Beach before the program was 230 days. That's how long it went. After the program, they saw a reduction down to 59 days. So we were moving the dial, which is what you can control. You can't control the numbers of files coming in sometimes, but you surely can control how soon you want to learn status. Okay, that you can control. And so subsequently, all these ADR programs are now launched throughout the area: Madera, Kern County, Bakersfield, Porterville, LA has them, Bakersfield. And there's some other measurements that we were able to get out. Kern County had an estimate of close to $1 million in 4850 savings in their first year. Orange County Fire Authority had about 1.5 million in savings. City of Huntington Beach, huge reduction in the time in terms of compensability and settlement. What we've also seen in all of these cities is a reduction, moreover, in litigation. Why? Because you're now giving your employees in your city a better map. And that better map is essentially understanding how the system is now going to provide direction to your members. What to do when you get injured, what doorway you go through, this is how it is. These are the treatment doctors. Now they're authorized. The only two issues you need utilization review today, two issues. Surgery, we don't want to do surgery on the wrong person, right? Or the wrong surgery on someone who doesn't need it. But there's a lot of doctors trying to make money. Surgery on the wrong person is the wrong answer. Opioids. We need regulation, pharmacy managers on this crisis because it's getting out of control. These are the only two areas in work comp that you need to watch where cases can get out of hand. Everything else is capped under the law. So what this has done, fast track, 30-day exam, 30-day report, we're seeing massive reductions in overtime, litigation, improving employee morale, really resolving the cases. You have members that are now getting injured. They now have a map and a direction to get through where it's going. These additional components we've built into your program to help, again, ease the litigation map. Mediation, it's voluntary, it's not binding, but the key there is that if parties want to avoid going to Fresno and have the uncertainty of litigation or a case kicked 3 or 4 times, they can go to a retired judge. These retired judges have settlement power to sign off on a deal. Nurse care managers. One of the biggest disconnects that I've seen in this system is between the client, the treating doctor, and the city. Now, a nurse case manager really is as a conduit to the case to get the information, to provide this information, to get authorizations, more importantly, status of what you can do. First care panel, this is the point of entry. We've now smoothed it out. This is the map of the first issue. Where do I go? These are the doctors streamlining the authorization of all these treating physicians in your area. Now the members know where to go. I get injured, this is it. You need a nurse care manager, you can request it. Prior to this program, a nurse care manager was only assigned if the carrier, that is Ames, your third-party administrator, agreed to do it. But the problem is members actually need this conduit. They need a go-between to communicate between the doctor's office and the claims, okay? Independent raters, we get a rating. A rater can then come in and give a value to the case. And so really the next steps after you approve the MOUs, then it goes to the state, and then we have a start date of 1/1/20. It's about a month to process with all the paperwork that you have in front of you. But essentially, this is a standalone MOU, separate and apart from their bargaining rights MOU. This has nothing to do with that. This is simply a workers' comp program. It doesn't change the statutory benefits. It changes the process, how we are going to attack it, and really defining a better map. A, who do I go to? The doctors. Are they authorized? Yes. B, what is the dispute process if a dispute arises? 30-day exam, 30-day report. Now we're moving these cases faster, learning status sooner, more importantly, trying to get your members back to work sooner. And that's really the goal of what workers' comp should be. And I've been doing this since 91, so I've seen every imaginable version of it. I've seen the abuses of it, and this is the time where we got to eliminate that. And this is what roots out fraud, this type of system. And why is that? Because the person can't hide out in the hinterland with some doctor that no one knows. The system is going to catch every imaginable angling person. Why? Because status is going to be learned now. We object to status. You're going to a neutral IME in 30 days. That report is binding on the parties, good, bad, or indifferent. You can't hide and go, oh, I'll wait for a QME. And this is the game they play, cat and mouse. QME takes this long. Oh, well, I missed that exam. Oh, new QME, new QME. 7 months later, what happens? The member comes back to work, miraculously cured. This is the game that's now over. We're getting rid of that part of this equation. This system should be about the employer and employee, but it's not. It's about a system of vendors today. So it's changing the dynamics. I hope you vote on it. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm here to field them.
What do we do about existing cases?
Well, the existing cases that there's actually a built-in provision, and there's two kind of interesting components to this agreement. One is the feature that I love the most is the labor management agreement. Each bargaining unit meets quarterly to discuss their files and their progress. And it provides an interactive, engaging conversation about cases. Pre-existing files that have not been litigated, that have not generated a formal medical report, can come into the system. So if you have a case that's pending, and let's say, we've had this in Bakersfield, we had a case where the officer had been off work for a year, and it was a terrible case, traffic collision, back surgery. She was part of the old system, but reached the end and was unwrapped. IMR denied the surgery, and the city said, hey, Ferron, we got to bring her into the plan. We brought her in. The IME saw it, said she needs surgery. They overruled the IMR decision, authorized the surgery, and ultimately she was on her way to getting back to work. So there is a mechanism in these MOUs to bring cases forward with the limitation. We don't want it to be utilized, obviously, for doctor shopping. You can't come in and say, oh, I want my car re-washed. You have a medical, that's really that's the medical. Now, there may be a case where the parties just say, despite that medical, we still want to bring the party in to resolve it. That's up to the parties to decide. So there's no really exclusion, but there is that section in there that will help that.
On this, if I question, I got a couple of questions. One's for the city attorney. On this, what do you think the thoughts and inputs of our RMA for the litigation portion of it? Because you're talking about, well, you can bring people in, you bring people out. I know, I would imagine that they've already done an analysis on the existing process of workman's comp, and I'm no expert in it. I know a little bit about ADR, but my question is that would be one of my questions is, what would their say-so be? Because, or would they even have that's a valid question.
Councilmember Brown, if I can answer that one.
Go ahead.
John Ferrone has actually worked with Ames, so Ames is part of our risk management.
Right.
Our risk management was the one who actually brought this forward.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I learned of the ADR process,
Right.
was through our risk management.
So if I may just ask a question, not to be argumentative, but so basically what we're saying is our RMA is endorsing this.
Correct.
Yes.
That's what I needed to know.
Yeah. The RMA as a pool.
I got it.
Yep.
Yep, sir.
Yep.
Another question is how does this work with the California short-term disability insurances? I mean, I've known some people who've actually paid. I don't know if the city of Lemoore, some employers pay into it, some of them don't. It's based upon the number of employees and stuff. And once again, I'm no expert, you are, but how does that work with this? You have any input on that? And then also the last question would be for the training for the employees, the union, stewards, things of that nature, because communication is key. And then, the other one would be about doctors. Okay. Who employs the doctors? Is it, is it, there's a batch of doctors out there, say if it was my doctor, I like going to my doctor, and my doctor was also qualified to make an analysis of my condition. Would that be valid, or do they have to go to the set doctors that's in this program?
Well, to your first question on the short-term disability, the system doesn't change any benefit that you would otherwise be entitled to if you're injured on duty. So in the case of a police officer or firefighter, you get 40/50. In the case of the non-sworn, you're getting temporary total
But if I may,
disability.
if you don't get the workman's comp, if the workman's comp doesn't bless it, how, and I'm no expert again, I mean, they probably both feed off each other.
They do.
Yeah, so if you don't get the workman's comp, then you got to go, I mean, if you're an 80, I'm just trying to wrap my arms around it.
You get the long-term disability. So for instance, there's a number of different disability plans out there like AFLAC and CAPF and PORAC and CLEA. And what happens is, in the case of a disputed claim where the member is off and not receiving their benefit under the workers' comp, they're entitled to the long-term disability benefit, but the delay letter that's going to come in typically is served on an employee within 14 days. That sets in motion a trigger to see an IME. That exam has to be set now within 30. We're at day 44. The waiting period for LTD is 60. So then we're 75 when we get compensability. So most LTD plans love this program because they're now not having to pay, because compensability decisions now are being reduced in a time frame, because the waiting period is 60 days. Decisions are being made in around 75 days. So you're getting now the status of the claim resolved sooner. So they may touch on long-term disability for a week or two, and then back, they're now in comp. So that's really to that first issue. As to the issue of whether or not your doctor is selected, the quarterly meetings really kind of expanded the list of treating physicians. So we tried to add really everybody's doctor in, because Ames does not have what is called a medical physicians network. Okay. And so we're broadening that list to bring in all doctors that really are good. We want that first to be, are they thorough? Are they effective? Are they good? Do they understand the system? And we bring them in to give them the protocol of authorization. So there was no way to exclude that. It was more of a, hey, let's make the list broad, because really the area that you're in is not really robust like it is down south or up in the Bay Area. So we try to get as many doctors as possible.
Okay. And I apologize for all the questions, but then I have another. So you go to ADR, and if side A, city, side B is employer, and I'd imagine they wouldn't have their union rep there or anything. That wouldn't be any part of this, right? They'd come in by themselves.
For like,
when you go to ADR, there's two parties.
well, no, yeah, the ADR.
Well, I should go a little further if I may.
Yeah.
When you go in dispute.
Got it. It depends on really what the dispute is. If it's a medical dispute, the member is going to an IME. It's a face-to-face exam with an evaluator.
Okay.
So that's where that person's going. It's not really employer going into the doctor's office. The only area really where it would be employer or union rep is if the parties went to mediation. But we really reserve that to where they're represented, because we're making it now a legal proceeding. While the member on rep can go, they really need a legal hand to kind of frame the issue. The judge is going to want a trial brief or mediation brief. And so that's really the only process that the employee would actually face. And so that otherwise.
Does this have anything in last question, Family Medical Leave Act? That's still in place. People can take it, even though if they didn't get their disability or get their workman's comp, they can still take FMLA.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, that has nothing to do with this at all.
Yeah, it's just another, thank you.
Yeah. Did I get all your questions?
Yeah, and then the I guess you guys would have training for the
the training
employees.
piece is the rollout is important. So once this gets signed and gets sent out, there's an individual rollout with all the different bargaining units and the third-party administrators. Show them, these are the new notices. This is what's going to happen. Here we're doing it. And really on the customer service piece, this is where they're upping their game. Member gets injured, they make the call, this is the new map, this is what's happening. And then quarterly, we then get to evaluate with a matrix that we've created, a model to measure time. So it's no longer, well, what was it? Well, Bill came in on this day, this is the injury date, this is when they went to the doctor specialist, what was the dispute? Then this is how the dispute was resolved, when was the dispute resolved? We're now measuring all that. Each quarter, we get to see how many employees went through it and what were the delays.
Do we have any ideas of what the employees' input is?
Everybody has agreed to.
I understand. I just want to make it.
Oh, go ahead.
Make it.
So we did meet with all of the union reps with these. They took them back to all of their bargaining units. They did speak about it. They all discussed it, and everything was approved prior to coming here.
Cool.
It's all been ratified on their end. So
yeah, that's good. Everybody is open.
Any other?
That's all the questions I have because I'm tired.
No, I can keep
Thanks for answering my question.
Keep going.
No.
Thanks
for answering my questions. Though.
Thank you.
You bet. Anything else? Okay. Thank you, guys.
Okay, going on to closed session. 1, conference with legal counsel, existing litigations, Government Code Section 54956.9D1, name and case, Sandridge Partners, LPV, name California Regional Water Quality Control Board, Central Valley Region, Fresno County Superior Court case number 19 CECG 02306. 2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigations, Government Code Section 54956.9, significant exposure to litigations pursuant to paragraph 2 or 3 of subdivision D of section 54956.9, 2 cases. The time is now 5 till 6, adjourned to regular session. Smith, go for the invocation, remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this moment, this opportunity, this time you've allowed us to come together. Father, we thank you for this great city. We thank you for this leadership. We thank you for this mayor. We thank you for these council members. We thank you for all of those that you have placed in position to help lead us to the next level. Father, we pray, God, that you would keep us, guide us, and give us the wisdom that we need to make it. Father, we thank you. We praise you. We give you glory. Father, we praise you for everything you've done and that you're doing. We pray that we always keep you first in everything we do and say. In Jesus' name we pray. Let every heart say amen.
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 Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Be seated. Roll call, Ms. Marissa.
Good evening. Councilmember Brown,
Here.
Councilmember Lyons,
Here.
Councilmember Scaldi,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Plord,
Here.
Mayor Neal.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to E, agenda approval, additions and/or deletions. Are there any, city manager?
Yes, Mayor Neal, we're asking to pull item 3-3 till the 12/17 council meeting on consent calendar.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And also, after the oath of office for chief of police, we would like to ask for a 10-minute break.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Report from closed session.
Nothing to report, Mayor and Council.
Okay, thank you. Public comment. Anybody want to expound on something that is not on the agenda? Come up to the podium. Give you 3 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for letting me share my views right now. I'm a little nervous, so you have to bear with me. I have, I don't know if it's okay to voice this sort of thing here and now, but I have an issue with one of the members of the city who most of you may know. He owns the home.
Excuse me for a minute. Can you state your name and your residence, please?
I'm sorry. My name is Gloria Perry, and up until recently, I was a 3-year long tenant here in Lemoore.
Okay,
And I moved here for job reasons. I'm a registered nurse and I work in Hanford.
thank you. Okay, go on.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I guess it helps if you know who I am.
Okay.
So like I was saying, this gentleman owns the property that I was recently renting. And he owns other properties here in the city of Lemoore. He's a well-known person in the city of Lemoore. And like I said, my complaint is that the home is almost 60 years old, and it's at the time where it needs a little maintenance, and things happen to homes and cars and things that get old, including our bodies. He did not do anything with much notice. For instance, I don't want to call him any names, but slumlord comes to mind because a lot of these things caused me hardship, and they caused me to be financially taken back by some of the things that were not addressed. The first thing is when I first moved in, yes, the fence was in ill repair. I told them that I had dogs. They were well aware that I had dogs, and the fence ended up falling down after 2 years of asking him to please fix it. It was boarded up on one side, and on my side, I had to nail boards on it and put 2x4s under it to keep it up on my side, because it actually fell, and neighborhood kids were in my yard at one point, and I was afraid I was going to come home and find one of them in the pool. The pool, there was a pool, small pool. I lived there 3 years, and out of the 3 years, there's only a handful of times I was able to swim in it because it turned green. Then the siding on the fiberglass lining was shedding into the water, and so there was fiberglass floating around in the water. You can't swim in a pool like that. So I told them about it and told them about it, and the water would turn green because whatever. And I told them there was a leak in the pool somewhere because it's an older pool, plumbing is above ground except for like the filter. So I was manually having to put probably 3 to 4 inches of water in it twice a week. When I addressed this to the daughter, who was the manager of this home, she told me it was evaporation. Well, we don't live in the Mojave Desert, so I really don't think there was that much evaporation. The pool right now is green, and I emailed the city of Lemoore to announce to them that, for you all, I guess, that.
Excuse me. You're already over your 3 minutes, but can you wrap it up?
I sure can.
I'm not trying to be in.
No, that's okay, because I know there's a lot of issues with this property.
Okay.
I think I was telling about the fish. I emailed the city of Lemoore to ask for your help because there was also an issue with my air conditioner running constantly. I couldn't move because I had broke my ankle and then I needed surgery on it, so I was kind of stuck in the home. When I let the manager know that the electric bill in a small 3.2 was $750 a month, she told me that everybody's bill went up and would not come out to fix it. And then I finally had enough, and I put a new fence up, and they asked me to leave because I altered the property without their consent. And in the city of California, I believe after due notice, which was 3 years, you can do that. The last thing I want to bring to your attention is when I brought it up to the city of Lemoore, emailed you, the only notice I got was a guy at my front door. He came into the back, checked the pool. Oh, it's green. He did this a couple of times with the water, saw that there were mosquito larvae in it, which causes a health hazard to the community. What did he do? He put fish in the pool.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear this. I don't know if we.
So I'd like to know if the city is aware of the fact that there's a health hazard in their community.
I'll have the city attorney.
Yeah, I can't give you legal advice, but your concerns are noted. My guess is that it was a mosquito abatement district that was out at your property, and they have inspection warrants to go in and check those issues with pools and standing water. But you can also contact Nathan after this meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Which is a city manager.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry. Nathan Olson is the city manager.
And as a professional, I've moved out of your city, same county, but I've moved out of here because I thought the city's not going to help me. They're just going to send out fish. So I'm very disappointed.
I think the fish come from mosquito abatement.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
And mosquito abatement districts, they have what's called inspection warrants issued from the court, and they can go onto your property and check those standing water issues and try
But
to
what
help you
does
cure
that
them.
do for the person that's not fixing or anything or doing anything about?
Yeah,
this
I
property?
can't answer that. I don't know. But you
Is
could
the
call the
city of
mosquito
Lemoore
abatement
Going
district.
to do anything about contacting this person who's got other properties? Maybe is doing the same thing. The roof is about to cave in. The people that put the air conditioner up there said
Yeah.
they couldn't guarantee it was going to stay up there.
My recommendation would be that you contact an attorney to help you and represent you.
Well, like I said, they've asked me to move, and I have moved now that my ankle is better. And then they served me with an eviction. But on my rebuttal, I said I wanted some of that $750 a month back, and I haven't heard a blessed thing. Nor did I pay rent in November because I paid it to a new home.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Anyone else with public comment? See, there's none. Summary and presentation, section 1, moving on. 1-1, Veterans of the Year. City Manager?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. So tonight, we have somebody in our attendance that's being honored as the Veteran of the Year. So I'd like to call up Assemblyman Rudy Salas. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me this evening. It's great to be here in Lemoore and great to be with you guys.
Great to see you.
Mr. Brown,
Yes, sir.
would you care to join me? It was supposed to be a secret, but I don't know how good secrets are around here with family and friends and everybody else. So let me just begin by saying, every year we have the opportunity in the state capitol and the state of California to recognize individuals for their service and the service that they've done for our country. And so, working with Mr. Brown, I don't know, can I call you Dave? We're here, right? and everything that we do, we wanted to make sure that we recognize his service. And unfortunately, up in Sacramento, though, we do this big thing, and we have the commanders, and we have people from across the country come in, but due to unforeseen circumstances, they had to cancel the event up in Sacramento. But I still wanted to recognize Dave for everything that he's done and everything he continues to do by serving the public here. And so what I did is we went and got this memorial resolution, which will live in California's archives forever in perpetuity, recognizing your hard work. And if I may, if I could have just the privilege just to read just a couple of these things, just in case everybody in the audience doesn't know everything that Dave's done. So let me just begin by reading a couple of these paragraphs. It says, whereas throughout the course of American history, courageous individuals have taken up arms to secure, defend, and maintain the core principles upon which our nation's freedoms depend. And the Honorable David Brown is one such stellar individual who will be honored as the 2019 Veteran of the Year for the 32nd Assembly District. And whereas an individual of immense integrity and fortitude of character, David Brown served in the United States Air Force from 1978 to 2000. Having served in Tactical Air Command and Strategic and Air Combat Command prior to his honorable discharge of the rank of E7 Master Sergeant. And in recognition of his distinguished service, he received numerous decorations and awards. And then we have a lot of things that you have done, and all. We've even listed your wife, of course, who's put up with you all these years. I mean, that's complimented you all these years. Let me correct that. And so let me just present this on behalf of the state of California, and let's all give Mr. Brown a big round of applause.
I just want to say that I want to thank Rudy Salas, staffers, for all your hard work. I want to thank the veterans. There's a lot of veterans in here. I'm pointing them out. My wife, you got, I mean, we got a lot of veterans in here, okay? Clint, Pete, John, our chief of police, you know, Chief Kendall, veteran. I watch and I see what you guys do, okay? Even the people in the public, even if you're not, I watch and I try to tell people, I watch to see what you do, and I say to myself, what do I have my children do, okay? I say that till today, you know, I'm just saying thank you. I watch what you guys do. Keep doing it, because I'm learning from you, okay? It's a team effort. There ain't no I in this team. We've all heard that before. No, but thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Want to ask two, oath of office, Chief of Police, Ms. Maris?
I'll take it. Again, good evening, Mayor and Council members. Congratulations, Dave. Well deserved.
Thanks,
So this item, we actually did the swearing in of Chief Kendall at the PD a week or so ago, but this is our way to introduce him officially to the public. Like to say before we get on with it that Michael Kendall has been with the Lemoore Police Department for over 15 years. He graduated from Basic Peace Officer Academy in January 2004 and was hired as a full-time officer in 2005. Chief Kendall held many positions and assignments within the department. These assignments include, but are not limited to, Explorer Advisor, Field Training Officer, Kings County Gang Task Force Investigator, Team Member, Breacher and Assistant Team Leader for the Central Valley Regional SWAT Team, Recruit Training Officer for the COS Academy, Range Master, Rifle Instructor, and K-9 Handler. Chief Kendall exemplifies qualities of outstanding character. He has received several commendations, all of which recognize him for his leadership, dedication, and commitment to the department, traits which are the epitome of a police chief. The city of Lemoore will benefit greatly from his leadership, and we look forward to many successful years ahead with Chief Kendall. Chief Kendall will be pinned tonight by his lovely wife, Sarah, in the presence of their 3 children, Braden, Jacob, and Colt, and his parents, Bill and Cindy.
All right, so I will administer the oath to Chief Kendall. So you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm. Repeat after me. Or that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. All right, congratulations.
Thank you. I know Chief Smith would want me to make a speech. I will keep it real short. I am the luckiest man alive. I get to work for this city and this department and be the chief of police. And when I say it out loud, I don't believe it. I have the best department, hands down. We had some major tragedy, as you guys all know, and the department pulled together and they were backed by the city, not just city staff, but the citizens of Lemoore the entire way. I'm truly honored and humbled. I thank you.
Thank you. After that, we're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break. Thank you.
For you to fill out. And then this Thursday, finally here, the TTH groundbreaking for our water compliance is happening this Thursday, November 21st at 1:30 p.m. at Wellsite 11, which is out on the corner of 18th Avenue in Glendale, or Lemoore Avenue to some in Glendale. So wish everybody come on out. We'll do a groundbreaking ceremony there. And fortunately, I won't be there. I have another commitment, another meeting I'll be at, but I know the city will be well represented. But this is a historic day for Lemoore. You know, we invested heavily in our drinking water, and this has been a long time coming. So things are moving. Happy to report that. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Okay, moving on down to consent calendar, section 3-1. Approve minutes regular meeting, November 5th, 2019, 3-2. Approval amend the lighting and landscaping maintenance district, LLMD, and public facilities maintenance district, PFMD, adopt budget to coincide with the approved engineer report. Now, we already moved 3-3. So I'm going down to 3-4. Approve workers' compensation alternative dispute resolution agreement between the City of Lemoore and the Lemoore General Associations of Service Employees. 3-5.
Same description.
The same description. So I'm not going to go down from 3-3 to 3-7. It's the same thing.
It's all bargaining units.
It's all bargaining units. So I'm going to ask the council, do you guys want to expound or pull any of these items? I'm going to move it to the public. Anybody from the public want to pull anything from the consent calendar? I see there's none.
I move the consent calendar with the exception of 3-3.
I got a motion by Mr. Plewert
Second.
And second by Mr. Brown. Mr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Lyons?
Aye.
Mr. Scody?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Okay. No public hearings. Going down to new business, section 5. 5-1, report and recommendations, tribute Merrill proposed for 25 West D Street. Ms. Hallwell?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. This item is to consider the proposed mural that you see up on the screen over there. It is proposed to go on the Domino's Pizza building on the east side wall. It's that white wall that faces towards Dr. O'Hare's building. So it will face towards the Lemoore Avenue and D Street intersection there. And actually, when I've been driving around and you stop at the intersection, whether you're facing south or facing towards the west, you have a clear visibility of that large white wall right there. So this mural would be a nice form of art for that wall, in my opinion.
Nice.
The building is owned by Mr. Ron Alvin, and he has given his permission to have the mural painted on that building. And we received an application from Mr. Chris Brazel and Mr. John Miller. They are the owners of Ramble and Rose Florist here in Lemoore, and they are here in attendance tonight. They put in the application that this mural is a representation of the downtown and a tribute to Lemoore Naval Air Station, and also the country as a whole by placing the American flag there and just the military. And it's just a nice representation. You can see kind of how you've got a gazebo, which doesn't look exactly like our gazebo, but it's a representation of downtown. You have the Oddfellows building, which is down here in the bottom left, and the artist is Jennifer Butts. She's also here in attendance tonight. She painted the mural on the side of the Oddfellows building, and you can see the mural, how it's within the mural. So that's kind of neat that she did the mural and she's going to do it again in the mural.
Very nice.
And then the Lucerne Hotel building. They've talked about doing some minor modifications to it. There's talk that the jets are a little too large, so probably the end subject will have some larger jets, and that the flag would look more realistic. And I'm not sure about the colors, if this is a good representation of the colors that are being proposed, but you can ask any questions of the artist that you like or the applicants. Let's see. The artist has painted over 20 murals, Central America, and she's also painted the one in Lemoore. So she has a lot of experience, and she's done, in my opinion, she did a really great job on the Oddfellows mural. And the Downtown Merchants Association has money available to pay for the artist to paint the mural, and then any maintenance of the mural. If later on it needs a little bit of touching up or something, then we're proposing that that would come out of the Downtown Merchants Advisory Committee, out of that fund. And with that, I would recommend that council would consider approving this mural, but if you have any questions for them, they're here to answer.
Council?
Public comment?
Come on, give it to public comment. See, there's none. Bring it back to council.
I move we approve the tribute mural with possible minor alterations as required or modifications.
Second.
Who's that said second?
I did.
Okay. I got Mr. Pruitt.
Aye.
Mr. Lyons.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Scody.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Going to.
Thank you for doing that too. That's
Yes.
Absolutely. It's beautiful.
3-3.
No, we're going to What was it?
3-3 was pulled until the
It was
next
pulled.
meeting, so you're on 6-1.
That would be on the 17th, yeah.
We're
We're done, buddy. Brief city council reports and requests, section 6-1, city council reports and requests. Mr. Brown.
Just humbled, not big in words for myself, giving them other people. But, once again, it's a team effort. I thank you guys, all you do. Once again, people Lemoore, thank you. Thank you all for what, I just want to say congratulations to Chief Kendall. Welcome aboard as our chief. Congratulations to Chief Smith on your retirement. Thanks for all your years of service. Our county, many years he was in Hanford, and he is still serving. But he's working on teaching our new recruits. So and they'll come back to Lemoore and they'll be police officers. So he's still working hard. That's what you get when you retire. Volunteers in policing, Rotary, thank you for this mural. This is great. People see this years go by. Makes our history. That's great. But just thanks for coming. It's big. Need your input. Keep giving that input, and we'll move forward. Thank you.
Mr. Lyons?
Yeah, I'd like to start out by saying thank you to everyone that helped out, donated, participated with Officer Diaz's services and funeral. Thank you to our great police department. And, being a part of that in some small way, it really was a testament to how tight-knit our community is. We have had problems, but we do pull together. I'd like to say congratulations to Chief Kendall. He's got some big shoes to fill, literally. I'm sure he'll do a great job. And a big congrats and attaboy to Mr. Dave Brown over here. Big old stud.
Wow, that's on record.
Yep. It'll always be there. I missed my aging committee because they moved my meeting from this week to last week, and I was working, so wasn't able to make it. And I have KCO tomorrow, so next time I'm up here, I'll have something from KCO. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Scody.
I too, attaboy, Mr. Brown. That's quite the honor. Perpetuity. That's a good word too. That's going to be there forever. So congratulations. Thank you for your service to our country and also to the city of Lemoore. I would also like to congratulate Chief Kendall on becoming chief. Thank our police department for everything that they do for you and I and our families. There was a parade on November 11th, and maybe my memory's not that good, but last year it didn't seem like there was that many people, and this year there was quite a few people. There's more than quite a few. It was nice to be able to see that many people come out and support the veterans and the city of Lemoore. I didn't count because there were so many stinking people, but I would say there's probably about half of what typically shows up for our Christmas parade. There was a lot of people. So thank you, members of the community and other communities that had to have come. Officer Diaz's funeral, I'd like to thank everyone involved and all the other agencies. It wasn't just Lemoore. It was amazing to see all the other agencies come together as one big body. And hopefully, and I'm sure PD's done this, thank those agencies for sending officers to come and in a time of loss. How about that? I have a KCDC meeting on December 9th over in Hanford, so I will report back after that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pruitt.
I just have, I have to concur with my council members concerning David Brown and Michael Kendall, both well-deserving awardees. The chief, when you're stepping into another job from the one that you had, there's going to be some surprises, and he started his first week with a lot of surprises. So he's he's pressing on, and I look forward to many, many years of seeing Chief Kendall as chief. I do want to amplify what Councilmember Scaldi said about the funeral perception out to the cemetery. There were so many public servants helping with that. Not only the city of Lemoore, the rec department, buildings and grounds, just total dedication to make that go over. But also I'd like to recognize the citizens of Lemoore. Every intersection in front of people's houses and apartments, stores, traffic was stopped. They got out of their car, they had flags. So it was a good tribute to a good man, and he's going to be missed. The other, pressing on to something else is we have two events coming up, the downtown holiday stroll and the Christmas parade's coming up. So I encourage everybody getting out and enjoying those two good events. Be entertaining. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. I want to commend Councilman Brown. Kudos to you, all the work you've done and continue to do for our city. Also, our new chief. I thank God for having you, and hopefully we'll stay on the right track and keep doing what we're doing. And I think you guys are doing a great job. And I want to give a shout out to all our law officers and veterans for all the work that they do. And on clock, off the clock, they're always doing something. I also want to give a shout out to our fire chief sitting back there. How he always, every time they have a Christmas parade, the fire department is spot on. They're always there. They're always there. They're always open-handed, open arms for you. And that's real big. Our city, we have a friendly city. And I don't want to spoil you with this, but it was kind of tough for me Saturday. I couldn't make it to one of the funerals, but I went to Gladys Smith's, Ernie Smith's sister's funeral. There was a lot of people there, but it was, I want to tell, I know her and Officer Diaz, they're in a better place, and keep their family in prayer. And all of you guys, I love Lemoore. This is my town. I call it Lemoore still. And I just want to let everybody know, God bless you guys. Until I see you again, adjourn. The time is 8:15.